And John, I'd like to start this morning with a question to you about an early formative experience in your life that indicated a direction that led you to poetry.
Well, that would have to be the time that I spent with my sister, Elsie, who was 4 years older than I was, and who, when she was introduced to reading in the first grade, was so excited about it that she insisted that I learn to read too. And I sat on her lap and I learned to read her first grade primers when I was 2 years old. And I've been a reader the rest of my life. A few years later, actually I was 7 years old, the family had moved into a rented, abandoned country schoolhouse, a one-room school with no indoor plumbing and a very cranky furnace that was not dependable at all in the wintertime. And we were not terribly happy. My parents were on the verge of divorce already, although they didn't know it. We didn't know it. What I knew was that I was very uncomfortable in that house. And I spent as much time as possible out of it, out in the woods. And I usually had a book or two with me, because having been a schoolhouse, the building had a basement full of school equipment and books. And my treasure was the Book of Knowledge. It was 12 volumes that were geared at first grade through 12th grade. And during the next several years I read my way through it. And I did that a lot by taking it out into the woods with me. In my book, Snapshots and Other Souvenirs, I've got a little story that recounts that. It took place in 1947, and I call it Fox and Grace. At 7 in summer, I walked the woods alone, frequently called to a certain round knoll where the oaks rose, crowded close, high branches interwoven, embracing a dim, cool, quiet space beneath a leafy dome no less grand or holy in my sight than any raised in old Jerusalem or Rome. Transparent shadows and transcendent peace filled its many-columned nave. I read there often from burgundy-bound volumes left behind when the old schoolhouse had become our latest home. Dense with facts they were, about aardvarks and Aztecs, Zebus and Zurich. I woke there once, returning from dusty Byzantium, having dreamed over the volume in my lap, watched by a young fox, sitting oh so politely, no more than a yard beyond my feet. He said nothing. I said, "Hey, Fox," and he rose, walked into the sunlight, and was gone. He knew, it seemed, when I came and went, and we met again, sometimes there where I would read to him, or elsewhere as I rambled in the woods where I might toss an acorn or a twig on which he'd pounce. Never was he a dog. He would not fetch, nor even take in his teeth the acorns I threw, nor come so near that I could touch him. But I had touched him, and he me. Late one day near that summer's end he came, stepping silently somehow among the tarnished leaves that lay like the fallen tiles of a shattered mosaic. Stopped, less near than had become his habit. A moment's regard, then he uttered one sound, deeper, more definite than the yips and yelps I'd heard him voice before. Behind him blazed a second form, stepping through sunlight into shadow less deep than had hidden it. Stepping not furtive, but wary, to stand beside and just behind her mate. After her, in a rush and tumble, came the cubs. He was among them in an instant, dancing, darting, with cuffs and nips that quickly stilled their play. He sat, she sat, they sat. I, sitting, could only stare, my mind so washed with thought that reason was drowned, leaving me only wonder. But wonder is deeper and older, often wiser than reason has learned to be. And from its depth, as from an unrippled pool, awareness rose, a wordless understanding. And what the moment was to him, it was to me. Thank you, I said, and weeping, said goodbye. Thank you.